This is the Life's Journey with Best Friends podcast. Listen as two best friends for over 40 years share our experiences, insights, and unique stories.
Hey, welcome back, BFFers. It's Diana,
And Noelle
and we're here for another episode
of Best Friends. No.
Life's Journey with Best Friends, and friggin' Noelle has no
I
idea.
have no idea where I am. Not today. It's been
a crazy day.
Sorry.
We're blaming it on the eclipse.
Yeah, right? The aftermath of the eclipse. All right, so let's start off with kind of something that's been around for a little bit, but we have a lot of questions.
Yeah, so this was my idea. I wanted to talk about the conjoined twins that recently got married because I just don't understand it.
I just have so many questions, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm really interested.
Just as a human, you're curious.
Especially as a woman.
Right, you're curious. So I have some details.
Okay.
So they were born in 1990. Their names are Abigail or Abby Hensel and Brittany Hensel. And so they were born conjoined. They didn't separate them. So they have, each one of them has a heart, a stomach, spine, a pair of lungs, and spinal cord.
Oh, okay.
So then each twin controls one arm, one leg.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
So they have their own heart and their own lungs.
Yeah, and I think I read from the waist down, they have single organs.
Okay.
Like they share organs.
So they have one uterus. So I get that. That makes sense. Okay.
I'm double checking all that.
So
each twin manages one side of their conjoined body. The sense of touch of each is restricted to her body half.
Okay. So I'm curious.
I don't understand. So one just got married. So if they share one organ from the waist down, how do they have sex?
Well, if they have
what is
a vagina, does one fill one side and one fill the other? If they're saying that, I mean, it's a very unique situation. I'm sure they've had to make a lot of different things.
They have one liver, which is enlarged and elongated, a Y-shaped intestine, one large intestine, one colon, one rectum, and one anus, 3 kidneys, one bladder, one set of reproductive organs.
Okay.
2 separate halves, sacrums.
So what if you don't like your sister's choice in a husband?
This is going to sound awful, but if they're having sex, what does the one twin that's not married to the husband do?
I don't know.
Does she close her eyes?
She must have to.
Does she put earbuds?
Yeah, I bet.
How could she not feel it,
How
could she not enjoy it?
No. You know that they're going to come out, because everyone has this question.
And what happens? Okay, so what happens when the other one wants to get married? Are they a foursome? Are they a throuple now? No, I mean, this is questions I need to know. Am not off base?
No, you're not. They would have to. So, like those people that have multiple wives, they would have to take turns. I would think. I mean,
okay, but you're sleeping with your sister's husband because you feel it.
You would think so.
How do they have babies?
Who's the mom?
That's my question.
So right?
Maybe because of...
So right now, because only one is married, you would assume that, I don't know which one got married, but whichever one got married, she would be the mom. Because it's her husband. But what if what if they're both married?
And you have sex?
So sorry, all these things are going through my head. What if the other sister starts to fall in love with that husband?
How could she not?
Right?
I mean, they're intimate.
Yeah.
I mean,
what if you hate him? What if you absolutely hate him? You and
So
your
if
sister
you don't
loves it.
enjoy sex, does that mean your sister doesn't either? Like the wife? So
Oh, I didn't think of that.
I got a lot of
Oh
questions.
my gosh. Well, and here's my question: How, like, why would?
I know what you're gonna say,
Yeah.
and without sounding like an awful
I'm not
person,
trying to sound like I'm like. Life is difficult enough,
right?
and I'm happy for them that one of them has found love. How did he think that this is going to work? Like, did he go into it thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get a 2-for-1 deal"? Like, you know what I mean?
I honestly I don't know, and so what confuses me, right? Right. So he obviously is doesn't matter,
Nope.
happy,
Which is great.
and you get a 2-for-1 package.
I,
I don't know how that works.
oh,
Like
I just thought of something else.
What?
The blowjob.
How can they?
I don't know.
What if he goes down on her?
Oh,
See, there's all of these things.
yeah.
So, anyways, but
Okay.
that is about their marriage. I
Right.
don't. I can't. I don't know.
Right.
I don't understand it. There's not. They don't. They haven't come out to talk about
No,
it.
and maybe they won't. They
Because
probably
it is
won't.
their private life.
It is.
I
but
get
they
that.
were on TV. I mean,
But
for
they put it
years.
out there that she got married.
Right.
So I mean, of course, and when they say they only have one feeling, well, they share the feeling down there. Of course, everybody's first question is about
Right.
their bedroom.
It's not just us. Yes.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But anyways, they also went to college. They graduated. They both graduated from high school in 2008, and then they went to college at Bethel University. And I believe they each graduated with bachelors of arts in 2012.
Okay.
I believe they're teachers. They two became teachers in 2013, and as of 2024, they continue to teach 5th grade. Now, I just want, and all the power to them, but I know my kids, the little kids in
Well,
kindergarten,
they don't understand.
right?
Yeah. But I think if they're introduced to it young enough, they tend
They're
to
just
understand.
I guess
It's normal.
right.
Yeah. But what if one of them didn't want to be a teacher? What if one of them wanted to be like? I have all these questions for them. Like, what if one of them was like, "No, I'm an artist. I'm not a teacher. I don't want to do this."
Or I want to go into business.
Right. I'm sure there's a lot of extenuating circumstances and, a lot of.
I have so many questions about
too.
this. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd love to know what our BFFers think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's all over the news.
Right.
Since the one got married. Which one got married? Abby got married.
You brought up a good point earlier that when they went to college, they had to pay 2 separate.
Yeah, that's what I was told. I'm not
You haven't
100%.
confirmed that. Okay.
No. But and I also heard
Because it'd be ridiculous.
and I also heard that they only get one salary for teaching.
That makes sense.
It doesn't.
Why? They're not teaching 2 separate classes,
No, but they're each teaching,
but they're teaching the same thing.
but they're 2 different people. You know what I mean?
But they can't be in 2 separate places.
They can't, but they both can teach the class. You have a teacher and sometimes you have a helper and they both get paid.
Okay, you brought up a good point. I don't know. There's like much.
I gotta look.
You've thought about way much more than I have.
Because it's so interesting.
When I saw that article, I was like, how do they have sex? That was the first thing that came to my mind. And I'm wondering, did everyone else think that too?
Yes,
Was
absolutely.
that like the first thing you thought of? Like, wow.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of because of the
intimacy,
is right there.
Right, of that intimacy. Like, that would just, wow.
They have, it says famous conjoined twins have 2 separate degrees but only get paid 1 salary per job. The famous pair, age 34, share bloodstream organs from the waist down as well as their earnings. So it's a good job these sisters get. Oh, it's good that they get along quite well. Imagine if you hated each other.
Sorry.
Her husband is a nurse and an Army veteran.
Well, okay, Ani, there are questions we need to be answered. You
They,
need to find the answers, Diana.
they have 2 brains, 2 sets of lungs, 2 stomachs, 5th grade teachers. It's nuts, man. I mean, all the power to them.
No, I think that's wonderful because
because
in a million years, when you saw them as babies, you would never have thought that they would have thrived. Now you would
they're
have thought they would
34
grow up,
years
and now they're
old. That's
married with
amazing,
jobs. I
right?
mean,
They're living a normal life.
that's awesome. That's absolutely
I'd
outstanding.
love to know what our BFFers think, though.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
let us know.
Was I the only one that thought?
No, you're
Oh.
not. You're not.
Good. So as you BFFers know, a few weeks ago, Diana and I went to a pistol class. It was for women only. It was up in the lovely state of New Hampshire, which is where I am from, and it was run by a company called Defensive Strategies, and it was a ladies' pistol course.
Defense.
In defense, and it was unbelievable. So we were like, these teachers were great. We really want to talk more about it, and we decided, we were like, oh my gosh, we really would love to have the female teacher on our podcast. And we reached out to her, and she said yes.
Woo!
Yeah, I know. So her name is Lynn. So thank you very much for
Welcome.
joining us.
Welcome,
We
Lynn.
really appreciate it.
Pleasure to
class
be
was-
here.
the class was outstanding. We absolutely loved it. And we really would love to hear a little bit more. I know Diana has a couple of questions for you, have
Mhm.
things, but we really would like to hear about, your history and how you started off and how you got here in
How you transitioned into teaching.
this class. Yeah,
That's what I would love to know.
So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, originally, my exposure to guns throughout my life was basically, shooting a BB gun in my teens, attempting hunting when I was 16 or 17, but the deer were smarter than me, so I gave up on that. And then
they always are.
yeah, and then I took a sharpshooter course just as an elective at college, and I loved it, and I did really well. And then literally decades go by, and of course I raised my family, and I used to occasionally go shooting. My son would invite me to go shooting with him, and then he gets busy with life, girlfriends, getting married, having
Right.
kids or whatever. And I just wanted to keep on going, so I thought, well, I shoot a gun, but I don't really know anything about them. So I basically started with the class that you ladies took, just a basic, that was the same exact class I started with, and I think that was 2015 or 2016. And I just kept going. I just feel like, as I get older, I just need to keep learning, keep going, challenging myself, and just personal growth. And as far as becoming a master instructor, it just was very organic. I just kept going. And then, of course, I mostly teach pistol, but I am qualified also for shotgun and carbine.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. That is awesome. So now I know that it's a little difficult to say that not everyone is comfortable around guns. So
Very
I
true.
shouldn't say that's difficult to say, but it's the truth.
It
So
is true, because I'd never held a gun before in my life until that class. That was my first experience.
right,
And
then
and what was it
it's
like
scary.
for you?
I enjoyed it. I was nervous.
Of course, yeah.
Definitely. And I just got so much out of that class. Like, it made me self-aware of how to be with my gun. You know what I mean? With how not to be so nervous anymore. Let's put it that way. Because as you know, I have massive anxiety.
She does.
So, I was a nervous wreck around just the thought of a gun. Never I held one or shot it. So
So I had shot a gun before. I had taken a class at Sig Sauer, and it was very different. This was geared more towards safety, and it was geared more towards defense. And that I found really empowering, because some of the things that you instructed us, I was like, oh, I never thought of that. So some of the
Same.
things
Same.
Yeah. So, like, you need to yell at the person. You need to do absolutely everything in your power to get them away from you or get them out of your home. And then when you know that you are definitely in fear for your life, then you know you can react appropriately and
Mm-hmm.
under the law.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because knowing, like, you think as a homeowner, you think if someone comes into your house, you should be able to take care. If he's robbing you or
Yes.
coming at you,
Hmm.
you could, you know.
Yeah, but there's a
You,
lot of things around that.
but
Yeah.
I learned
Mm-hmm.
that you
Mm-hmm.
can't just take your gun out and shoot somebody that comes into your house.
No.
Not that
Right.
I would, but I learned like how you have
Right.
to say all that.
Right.
Well,
And it's
you can't shoot somebody over stuff. It only has to
Right.
be with immediate threat of loss of life or grave injury. Something
right.
to think about too. What if we may have mentioned this in class? What if your next door neighbor or a few houses down has an elderly parent with dementia or Alzheimer's, and they kind of wander into your house? That actually happened to a niece of mine a couple of
Oh,
years ago. There was this elderly gentleman just like inside their house one day, and they were like, "Ooh!" But
Yeah.
so you have to check off all these little things in your head, like, "Am I in
Right.
imminent danger? Yes or no?"
right.
And I have to say, going to that class, that put that in my head,
Mm-hmm.
like it gave me that little checkbox
Mm-hmm.
of, you don't just get your gun and
Right. And be like, oh, someone's in my home. They're, a stranger. Yeah.
right, I can
Right.
protect my house.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do
I
you ever go ahead?
well, I just wanted to say that you used a word that is very key. I think you said that it was very empowering. And
Yeah.
one thing that you have to consider as women, and especially as we get older, is one of the things that we covered was disparity of force. Okay,
Hmm.
so 9 times out of 10, if your threat is a male or a large person or a younger person, then right then and there's a disparity of force that you're at an disadvantage of.
Right.
And and that's, you may have heard the expression that a firearm is the great equalizer. Well, for women, it truly is.
Hmm. So do you ever have any women that come to the class that are like, I don't want to say not interested in the class, they're just there to kind of bust your eggies? Like, does that ever happen?
Uh, Not overtly. There have been a few people that have been in the class, and you kind of think, well, that's interesting that that person is in this class, because um, philosophically you would think that it wouldn't line up with who they are. And
Yep,
Right.
yet
with that.
the way things seem to be going, uh, firearms seems to be of interest to people of all persuasions.
So
Yes.
you're so
That's
right, and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I wanted to take that class. One, as a business owner, but two, because this world right now that we're living in, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect,
Agreed.
people that are not comfortable with it.
Right.
The idea to tell someone that they can't carry, okay, that's a little different, and that's, we can go through all of that, but that's a whole other discussion. But
Right.
I feel like your class was more, like I said, empowering.
Educational.
Yes, and it was great. And
Mm-hmm.
women that are thinking, and that doesn't mean I'm going to carry.
It
It's
just means
just
you're educated. That's all it
Right,
means.
exactly. That's the whole thing. Like, I feel like so many people should take that class, whether they want to own a gun or not, because
Mm-hmm.
right.
it teaches you like lessons about defense. Like, if someone comes in your house, if you have a weapon, I mean, what if it's mace or whatever? But that
Yeah.
class just taught me so much
Right.
about defense.
Mhm.
Yep. I mean, the bottom line is situational awareness. I guess I could share that, like I shared with my mom one time when we went to lunch. So we went, as we were approaching the restaurant, I said to my mom, I said, I'm going to, after we order the food, I'm going to explain to you why we're sitting where we're sitting and the reason, the reason for it. So, so we ordered our food, went to the back of the restaurant, and there was like an emergency exit behind us, and her back is towards the front of the restaurant, and I'm facing the front of the restaurant. So I just simply explained to her, I said, this is just so that if something were to happen, things were to go south, I'm able to see people coming in. I'm able to look at people in the main dining area. I'm looking at people ordering food. And I can just observe for something that's out of place, somebody that's agitated or somebody
Right.
that's screaming or whatever. And, nobody has to be a hero. You could just simply be a good witness and get the heck out of there. So
Right.
And
I
you're
said to
right
my
near the exit door.
Right.
Right.
So I said to my mom, if things go south, I'm going to say, Mom, get out the door. Just get
Right.
out the door. And she can leave and I can follow behind her. So it's really just being situationally aware. Same thing like you might get out of your car to a convenience store and there could be a homeless person that gets up off of a curb and immediately starts walking to you. Well, kindness can kill you. And
Right. Yeah.
instead you may just want to hold your hand up and say, don't approach me. I can't help you. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
it stops it in the tracks, or it should.
I feel like a lot of people need to get their heads out of their phones when they're at a restaurant
Exactly.
Oh,
or
Exactly.
wherever they're at, because that's all we do. And that class made me aware of my
Hmm.
surroundings because I was one of those people.
Hmm.
I didn't give it a second thought. Yeah, I might have been nervous and I would look for the exits, but I never paid attention to where I was sitting by the door or whatever because
Hmm.
my head was always in my phone.
right. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't want to, I'm not downplaying anything. I'm just saying it's kind of sad that when you go into a place, whether you're going to a store or a restaurant, that you have to think this way. But
Hmm.
reality is,
The news tells you
right.
otherwise.
But a 5-minute check before you start to enjoy your meal, that's really all you need. Just to
Hmm.
do your things, scope things out, know what's there, and now you can
Hmm.
enjoy yourself. But you're
Hmm.
right. When that person, that homeless person, or some stranger is approaching you,
Hmm.
and you put your hand out, that's your first line of defense. And then
Hmm.
if they're still coming toward you, they do mean you some harm,
Hmm.
or there's something wrong that you need to
Yep.
maybe take it a step further.
Right.
Sure.
Right. And so let's talk a little bit so now say we have an intruder come in our house. I'm home alone and I do own a gun and it's licensed and everything. And I know that Bob had said in the class you're supposed to say
Like to issue like a lawful command, like get out of my house. I
It was
have a
lawful
gun.
command.
I will defend myself or something like that. But
Yes.
the other thing we talked about too is having a safe room. If you create a safe room, then you can scream all you want, like I'm, get out of my house or I'll shoot to defend myself or something like that. But you can also go into a safe room and just stay focused on the door. And then, of course, if they breach the door, that's pretty much
then
the
you
intent that
Right.
you need to defend yourself
okay.
and neutralize
Right.
a threat.
Right. Because at that point, their intent is not just to take your stuff.
No, they're coming at you.
They're at you. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
And-
you've already screamed, "Get out of my house!"
right.
I'll defend myself, and if you retreat to a safe room, and that's a whole nother class, a whole bunch of stuff that you learn about, like what to have in a safe room and things like that.
Yeah, that's what really opened my mind.
Me
Is
too.
those types of things. And I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
I never thought of that. So I
Right.
think, for the majority of the people that listen to this podcast, they are older women.
Hmm.
And you do find yourself a little bit more nervous. I think you're not as cocky as you were when you were younger,
Hmm.
and you're like, okay. And some people may be alone now. So what do you do? And it's great. This is great information. And you don't have to have a firearm in order to protect your life. Things like the safe room, those things that maybe you never thought about before.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I loved that
And
class.
you can also have less lethal ways to stop a threat. You could
Yeah. Oh,
have the
absolutely.
pepper
Yeah.
spray or something
Yep.
like that.
Mace or something.
Yeah.
Lynn, tell
Mhm.
us what classes they offer at defensive
Defend.
strategy. Different.
Well, gosh, it would be so many to even list. I mean, really, what I would suggest if somebody went to the website. But basically, we have pistol classes, we have carbine classes, we have shotgun classes, but we also have things like safety in the home, safety outside of the home. But we also teach NRA classes, and we have classes like Don't Be a Victim, which is also an interesting class for learning and understanding situational awareness and things like that. But so it really depends what, do you have a shotgun that's been handed down in the family that you want to learn to shoot? To shoot it defensively, things like that. So it really depends what your interest is, whether it's pistol, whether it's carbine or shotgun.
Gotcha.
But again, we
Cool.
do have the classes that don't involve any firearms at all. It's just simply learning about stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
interesting.
really interesting. I
Right.
know. I'm sure I can gather a few women that would love to do that. So
Okay.
tell us your website.
FriendsofStrategies.org.
Okay.
And when you go to the home page, you want to make sure that you're on the home page, and it will pretty much tell you, like it'll ask you a question, are you a new shooter? Are you new to firearms? If that's the case, you can click that link and it'll take you to like beginner classes. Other than
Okay.
that, you can kind of go chronologically to upcoming classes.
Perfect.
That's great.
Mhm.
Well, this is awesome. Is there any other information that you would like, our female audience to know, or things that, you try to instruct women to?
A couple of points. It's not always very successful to have a spouse or a significant other teach you. It's also not necessarily good to have somebody else buy your gun for you. Lots of times we'll have somebody come to the class and they already own their gun. I would suggest that you do a class first, become educated, learn about the firearm, you go to the range and shoot some guns.
Yep.
And then you're starting out as an informed consumer as to being able to shop, make decisions about what you want to buy. And you're not going to be arguing with your significant other about how to hold a gun.
Right.
Also, even if you're not interested in, you mentioned earlier, if you're not even really interested in concealed carrying, there are many, many homes that have guns. So if you understand guns, then you understand, if you have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, then you're educated enough to be able to inform the children about safety, about not touching, about
Right.
getting an adult, things like that. Because there's a lot of homes with handguns and rifles
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm just going to put a plug in for anybody that is, your kids are grown, and why not look into it, learn to handle firearms, to become confident, to be safer, and also why not challenge yourself and just keep going. I'd
Right.
love
Yeah.
to see more female instructors. I really would.
Yeah, and I'm sure in all your classes, your female classes, we had to keep going out because they kept selling out. So we were
Yes,
surprised to
Mhm.
see.
we wanted to go
Yes.
earlier, and it was sold
Mhm.
out. Then the next one sold out. We were
Yeah.
like, wow.
So that's awesome, and there were
and
25 of
that's
us in the class.
Yeah, and we've been adding classes. So like last month we did, I think, 2 or 3 additional classes. So normally we do a ladies only class, 1 class a month. But
Really?
we're doing like 3 and 4. So that's selling out even with 3 and 4 classes in a month.
Fantastic.
And
Well,
I feel
that's
like,
good.
So,
yeah, that
yeah.
I mean, so I feel like I learned a lot. I
Yeah.
mean,
Mhm.
it made me more confident. It made me not fear guns
Mhm.
like I
You're still you have to
well,
get
I
out
mean,
there.
you
Right.
should be a little nervous.
Oh,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
You
But
have to.
I just was like, okay, I can
Mhm.
handle this.
Right. It's not
We
as
have
scary as yeah.
we have had women in the class that literally the second the gun is put in their hand, they're like shaking and crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get them through the process. We just, lots of times we'll say, well, how about instead of being first or third or whatever, why don't you be the last person in line? If you don't have to rush home for anything, be the last person in line. See, women are becoming the largest group of people that are purchasing firearms. And there's a reason for it. There's a very good chance. There's a very good chance in our lifetime that we, as women, will encounter violence. And of course, we've had women in our class who are in the middle of domestic violence or formerly of domestic violence, going through divorces. I think I mentioned we've had some Jewish people who are very concerned with the
Yeah.
anti-Semitism.
No, that like shocked me. Yeah.
Yep. Women who hike alone, people who,
Okay.
women who have neighbors that their house has been broken into. We had a woman one time in the last year that her house had just been broken into, like, I don't know, a month or two before. So she was like, yeah, I'm going to learn to use a
yeah,
gun.
she's ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. We'll put the website out there. You may see us
I was
very
going to say you
soon.
might see us in a couple classes.
Yeah.
I hope we do. Yeah.
That
Yes.
would be
Because I'll
awesome.
tell you, some of the classes, yeah, you might spend a day in the classroom, like the 2-day classes, like the concealed carry and things like that. So you're kind of stuck in the classroom for one day, but you're learning an awful lot. But the next day you're on the range all day. So you have a lot of,
Okay.
you learn
Okay.
a lot. You learn a lot.
Okay.
That would be awesome. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds good to us.
Yeah, we're definitely looking it up.
All right. Well,
Well,
thank you so
you
much,
so,
Thank you,
Lynn.
Lynn.
thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Take care.
Talk to you soon.
You too. Bye.
Okay.
I find her so interesting.
Yeah, I do too. I'm sure she's got stories.
I know.
All right. So we recently just had the eclipse. And so the next day after the eclipse, I saw this article that these
Oh no.
eclipse glasses
Stop it.
were recalled. The key glasses that as a prompt alert. And of course, I had to click on this and I had to open it. And it says Illinois officials are urging the public to check their eclipse glasses, saying that some brands were recalled for potentially failing to meet safety standards.
Little too late.
This was posted the day after
Little
the
too
eclipse.
late, isn't it, buddy?
It's like, are you serious?
After everybody burned their eyes out.
Yeah, it's Amazon said that they had not issued a recall, but confirmed that the company notified customers that the glasses were not yet vetted by AAS and offered refunds. Dude,
Why
really?
did they sell them
I
then?
don't know. Like,
I would be so pissed off.
so how many lawsuits are there going to be?
A
now?
ton. Class
Action, but how many? So I was not one that was like, oh, I was like, this
I
is
didn't
kind
have
of stupid.
glasses.
So whatever.
I didn't look at it.
No, I will say that I felt weird during it.
You
I know
did?
that's so weird. Yeah,
I watched it on TV.
I did,
but
bit.
because I was hoping that it got dark here, but it didn't. And I was really bummed about that.
Yeah.
I wanted it to get dark, like, because watching it on TV and seeing it in like Texas and
Yeah, they got
Illinois,
dark.
it got like so dark,
Right.
and they all said the temperature dropped, the wind picked up, and like birds flew in weird patterns.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to experience just a little bit of that.
Okay.
We didn't get any of it.
So I had the opposite. So I did end up going outside. I was at work, so people were outside and they had their glasses, and I was like, "Oh, screw it, I'll look." It was really cool. It was very cool. I only looked, for like a quick second. I looked through the glasses, and I found the opposite. There was no wind, there were no birds, and it was so eerily quiet.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people say it was so eerily
It was
quiet.
the weirdest thing, and I felt weird. I don't want to say it was like a vibration, but I was just like, all right, I don't like this. I'm done. I'm going back inside. That electrical energy. When a storm's coming, it was like a really bad storm. It was bizarre. But I'm telling you, come on. The day after.
I know, that's ridiculous,
I
by the
was
way.
like,
I
oh.
would be so pissed.
Like, here you are thinking you're protecting your eyes. And
I
your
mean,
kids.
I didn't realize they were just those flimsy 3D glasses.
But,
But
yeah, no, but they're thick. So I don't want to say thick. They're dark. Like, if you put them on.
it's not like the red and blue.
No, you could you could not see. You
Okay.
literally someone had to like point your head to where it was in order
Really?
to see.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they were dark, but oh my gosh.
When it hit totality, you could take your glasses off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what NASA. I watched the NASA feed.
Mhm.
I streamed it. And it was actually interesting. You could call me a nerd. I loved it.
No, I just was
I
like,
just,
that's a waste of
at first I
yeah.
was like, who the freak
That
wants to
would
do
be,
that,
right?
right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, I am kind of really interested. And then when I drove home from work, I saw so many weirdos with their glasses on. I was like, oh, it was just really funny. Everybody had their glasses on.
Friends of ours, he had gotten this really awesome telescope for Christmas. He's a nerd, and took pictures. And
My
posted them.
brother went to Vermont.
Oh, that's crazy, but it was cool. So the pictures that he took, like it was the totality,
Yeah.
and then you could see
The
like,
diamond. They call it the diamond ring or something.
Oh, I don't know, but you could see like sun flares.
Yes.
So
They were
cool.
purple
Yeah.
and pink. It was so cool. Like I said, I watched the whole
Yeah.
thing.
The traffic coming home was crazy. People, I live in New Hampshire, and everyone went up there too. And they were like 1:00 in the morning. There were still like ridiculous.
Yeah, they
amounts
said
of
it was like
traffic.
a Sunday afternoon
Yeah.
coming home.
It was
My
crazy.
brother, they went up to North Conway, but they weren't far enough up, so they
Oh.
drove another hour and a half to Vermont, and he got some great pictures.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Good for him.
yeah, he
That's
bought a
awesome.
special camera for it and everything.
Nerd.
Yeah, he's into like photography
I know
and
he
stuff.
is.
So,
he is.
but he sent me, and I'll send the pictures to Julie,
yeah.
and she can put the pictures he took.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And it was. I found it interesting. At first, I was like, I don't want glasses, and then I was like, bummed that I didn't have glasses. But I was at work.
You had FOMO.
I didn't get out of work till 3:30, so
Right.
I missed it all.
Right. I just happened to look outside, and there were a bunch of people standing out there, and I was like, what are they doing? And then I realized, I was like, all right, I'll go out there. So if we go back a little bit to the Super Bowl, all the awesome commercials this year. I don't think we talked about it, but
I didn't like them.
Oh my gosh,
There was
some
one
of them
that
were
I liked.
So good. Which one?
The one you're going to talk about.
All right. So the Dumb Kings one.
Yeah, that was the good one. The
That-
rest were kind of
Some of
stupid.
them were really funny. I mean, Tom Brady was what, like 3 of them.
Tom Brady, was he the DraftKings where he
Yeah,
always
he's Draft-
wins
yeah,
or whatever?
yeah.
That was a good one
Yeah.
too.
Anyway, so during that, the Matt Damon and what's his face, Ben Affleck, they all wore these suits, these track suits. And what we found out the day afterwards is Dunkin's sold those track suits. They sold out in like minutes. So,
I would not be caught dead. I mean, I guess for a Halloween costume, it's very funny.
yes,
But I
absolutely.
would not be caught dead in that.
So this article I saw said it's been 2 months since Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Tom Brady appeared on our television screens in the bright orange and pink tracksuits. Do you know people still have not gotten their tracksuits?
I'd be pissed.
Okay, so they've sent them a Tumblr to let them know that there is a delay, but just the pants were $60. So
Just the pants.
yeah, as far as they know, that when you ordered them, that was going to be there within 10 days. This is now 2 months later. So I'm sure they didn't think anyone was going to buy those stupid things.
So they didn't put them in production?
No.
Why would they have them for sale?
Because they just thought it would be funny. I don't know. So they apologized for the inconvenience in processing the communication. Offered also a $25 Dunkin' gift card to impacted customers. Now, okay,
Would you spend that? So the pants alone.
or 60. So let's just
I
say,
think I saw the jacket, all different prices, starting from 60 to 75 to 90, depending on where you get it.
right. So let's just say the whole suit cost you $200.
Never would I spend that money on that. It's hideous.
Where the fuck are you going to wear that?
Halloween.
Right? Now, there's going to be people, like, once they're delivered, that are going to be on TikTok or whatever, but they're going to be in the middle of Boston doing some stupid ass shit. So, but I don't understand. Stop spending your money on dumb shit. Like, seriously, because it's not someone our age. And if it's someone our age,
I'm thinking it's more people our age than it is the younger kids.
you think,
I don't think younger kids are going to wear those.
I don't know. I think they thought it was, I think it's funny. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I'm just asking everyone, stop spending money on stupid shit. You don't need it.
Someone's going to come back to you and say, it's my money. I'll spend it how I like.
Yeah, well, that's stupid shit.
No, but that's like I would. I personally would not buy it.
No, but I just found that funny that it sold out so quickly, and they haven't even gotten it yet. So now at this point, it was wicked funny. So if they got it within a week, and you saw them walking around with it, all right, that'd be funny. Be like, oh look, they got that. 2 months later, everyone's gonna be like, you look like an asshole,
Right?
Right?
You masshole.
You know it was all massholes that bought it.
Yes.
There was no one else from the rest of the country that bought that.
No way. There's no way. A New Englander special. That's what it was.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you know that I listen to like sports radio on my drive home, and
Yeah.
they have a commercial for Dunkin's, and Dunkin's was selling that skewer with the munchkins on it
Yeah,
for some kind of drink. I'm like,
$3.
I'm
Yeah,
like, what the
it was.
fuck?
It went with the Dunk King's drink.
Yes.
and they put it
and
in
the Dunkin's drink was disgusting. Whatever. It was like swirly stuff.
Oh, it's just all sweet. goopy
Yeah, I was
crap,
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh. And then they have the straw with the
The
munchkins. I was like, that is, they talk about capitalizing.
It sold out like everywhere. People were ordering it left and right. They
I
knew
need
what
to
they
come
were
up
doing.
with something like that for the ice cream store.
Yeah, you do.
Maybe I'll do a tracksuit. I'll sell Nana Bet's tracksuit with a skewer with ice creams on it or something. I don't know. That's crazy.
You do.
They have a great advertising and marketing
Well,
team.
of course they have the money for it too.
Right.
I mean, all right, BFFers. So this is another week down for us. Thank you so much for joining us, hanging out.
I hope you enjoyed our interview because
Yes.
we enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
you know what? Look up the class because I bet you will find it very interesting.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to shoot a gun, take the safety classes or the, I found it very empowering.
Yeah. And if you guys decide that you do want to take the class, let us know. Maybe we'll join you. Hit us up on our socials. You can email us. But other than that, we hope you have a wonderful week.
And we'll see you next week.
And as always, it's, do you remember it?
Yep. It's better to have a friend with 2 chins than 2 faces.
You got it. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Life's Journey with Best Friends. For details on any of the things we've mentioned in the podcast, including photos, visit our website lifesjourneybff.com. You can also email us at lifesjourneybff@gmail.com or visit us on Facebook, Instagram, or Threads.
Remember, no matter where life takes you, you are never alone when you have a best friend by your side. Until next time.